Hi, I'm Israel Davis.
Hi, I'm Carolina Pava, and you're watching Meet the Artist.
Welcome to Meet the Artist, the show that features Michigan-made art by Michigan-made artists. On today's episode, we travel to the city of Grand Rapids to feature two uniquely talented artists, each on different ends. And later, we go inside the laid-back and thoughtful and introspective craft of clay artist and instructor Israel Davis. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, we take you to the artists themselves to get an exclusive look on Meet the Artist. Israel Davis is an artist and instructor who's more than your typical art teacher. A thinking man who wears his heart on his sleeve, Davis creates an interpersonal type of work that taps into the memory bank. He doesn't merely teach. He inspires those who seek knowledge of the craft. We travel to an industrial studio loft in downtown Grand Rapids, where we delve into the inner workings of Israel's art and his philosophy.
My name is Israel Davis, and I'm an artist, plain and simple. But I'm also an educator. I teach at Kendall College of Art and Design, and I'm also the ceramics program director at the Urban Institute for Contemporary Arts. I was taught how to draw by my dad, so to speak, sat me on his lap, drew like Mickey Mouse and stuff. I drew comics. But I've always been creative. I've always had this kind of knack for three-dimensional things, building things. So art's always been a part of my life in some way, shape, or form. The moment in time that I knew I wanted to take art more seriously was when I went to the School of the Arts in North Carolina. I was always really good at art in my art classes, but when I went there, I saw the potential to be an artist as a career. I've always wanted to pursue ceramics. Since college, basically. I was introduced to ceramics through Martha Dunnigan at the North Carolina School for the Arts, which is where I spent my last 2 years of high school. But I really became enamored with ceramics and knew that I wanted to do it my first ceramics class at the School of the Art Institute in Chicago. My specific training actually came in a strange way because as a child I was hit by a car by a drunk driver, and my parents got a settlement from that, and they put that in an education fund for me. So as a child I was always told I could use it to buy a car when I was 18, or I could use it for school. And when I was 15 I heard about this place called the North Carolina School for the Arts. And having always done good in art class, my teachers really encouraged me to check this place out. So I went for a 3-week summer session. And while I was there, I found out that you could finish your last 2 years of high school there. And there were only 2 slots left, so I made up my mind that I was going to really work hard and put forth a good interview at the end of that session. And I ended up getting accepted there. Inspiration for my craft, my artwork, it comes from all over the place, but mainly family, friends, experience, travel. It's not as directly related to forms of art as it is experiences. The series that I do in my work, they don't necessarily start with a beginning, middle, or end. I mean, I guess there is a start, but they're all ongoing. So I'm never afraid to come back to an idea and work on it. And so to me it's important as an artist to continue working on ideas in the form of a series or number of objects, number of pieces, because it helps you re-examine and re-investigate those ideas and possibly make them better. My Pages series is a series of works based on photographs from of family and friends, and they mostly go over specific experiences in life. So each piece tells a story. They're really narrative, and they're titled pages because I considered it like pages from a journal. I don't really try to have a style per se. I just try to let what I do myself be imbued through the way that I handle the material. So, you know, I try to be physical with it. That's one reason I love clay, because it's a physical material. And when I do drawings, I approach that also physically. So I'm trying to put marks, you know, I'm trying to be physical with the way I'm applying those marks to the surface of the canvas or the screen or whatever I'm doing.
For Israel Davis, art exists on a very personal level. Incorporating elements from childhood, it takes one back to a time when freedom once outweighed responsibility. Israel describes some of his more recent works as he explains the inspiration behind his drive to create.
My sculpture and installation work takes a lot of different vestiges. I've done a lot of work with animals and teddy bears, trying to recapture childhood, you know, those kind of toys you would play with as a child. But I've also done a lot of things with airplanes and paratroopers, and again, trying to recapture that sense of freedom that you might have as a child. And I really try to approach my art in that way. And along with that conjures up experiences from childhood that may be good or bad, you know. I try to do things that could possibly connect to another person. But mainly it's autobiographical. And my 3D work, my more sculptural work, is just a way for me to investigate space with symbolism and imagery, you know, and to be able to, I mean, that's why I have this space, so I can set things up, walk around it and look at it. It's very hard to conceive an installation and then have to go build it somewhere else. It's nice when you can build it in a space and live with it for a while and walk around it and make changes and do different things with it. I don't think I ever really have a favorite. I mean, there's times when I'm like, yeah, man, that's what I was looking for, but I think as an artist, you're just never really satisfied, and that's what keeps you driven to keep making art. I'm an artist who doesn't sell a lot of work, and I'm not geared towards the sale of my work. In fact, I really resist it a lot of times because I don't want to be pigeonholed into some sort of marketable object necessarily. I want to be able to make the work that makes me feel good. I want to be able to make the kind of work that fuels my curiosity for investigation of materials, subject matter. So to find a favorite is really tough. It's a really hard thing because you might get one that you think, yeah, this is really what I like, but then you see the flaws in it and you want to make it better. I have this technique of screen printing on clay, and it's not something that's necessarily new to the world, but not everybody knows how to do it. And so I get asked a lot to come demonstrate my techniques of screen printing on clay. That's kind of been my focus, my angle on my art career, is more from the education standpoint. What I like most about teaching is the students. It's hard for me not to get emotional about it because I work really hard to have an impact and to teach those guys how to make it themselves. Ultimately, they have to make a choice to do it beyond a grade, beyond school. And so a big thrust of mine is to push them and to create experiences that are beyond the institution, that are outside of the institution, that aren't necessarily grade driven, that are just there for the pure need of making art and making connections. And so that's really where my drive and pursuit is. An art career doesn't happen in 1 year, it doesn't happen in 2 years, it doesn't even happen in 3 years. Maybe there are some lucky people who were very savvy and ambitious and have been able to make things happen relatively quickly. But for most of us, it's time, patience, experience, and years of working towards it. And so my first thing that I would tell someone is, if this is what you want to do, then you need to have that decision made right now so that you can find those opportunities to move forward.